Please, you have to listen to me. I didn't take anything. I swear on my life.
The police handcuffs felt ice cold against Martha's wrists. She looked down at her hands, which were rough and red from scrubbing floors. She could feel the stares of the other hotel staff. They were all watching her. Some looked shocked, but most looked away. None of them stepped forward to help. Martha felt a heavy knot of terror tighten in her chest. She had never broken a law in her life. Now, she was being treated like a dangerous criminal. "Please, you have to listen to me," Martha whispered, her voice trembling. "I didn't take anything. I swear on my life." The police officer did not look at her. He simply pulled her arm to lead her toward the hotel elevator. Next to them stood Mr. Davenport, the grand manager of the luxury hotel. His face was twisted in absolute triumph. He adjusted his expensive silk tie and sneered at Martha. "Save your tears for the judge, Martha," Mr. Davenport said loudly, ensuring everyone in the lobby could hear him. "We found a missing diamond necklace right inside your cleaning cart. You were caught red-handed. A thief like you belongs behind bars." Martha shook her head violently. She looked at the gold and marble lobby. It was a place of extreme wealth. She was just a poor widow trying to pay her rent. She knew nobody would believe a word she said. The evidence was right there. But she knew the truth. She had been framed. Just as the elevator doors began to open, a deep, booming voice echoed across the lobby. "Stop right there," the voice commanded. The entire lobby went completely silent. The police officer froze. Mr. Davenport's smirk instantly vanished. A tall man in a flawlessly tailored charcoal suit walked into the lobby. His presence was commanding, and he moved with absolute authority. It was Lawrence Stone, the reclusive billionaire owner of the entire hotel empire. He was a man who rarely appeared in public, let alone interfered with hotel staff. But today, his sharp eyes were locked onto Martha's terrified face, and what he did next would send shockwaves through the entire hotel. Before we find out how the powerful billionaire changes everything, please take a quick moment to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring you more of these emotional and gripping stories. Also, we would love to know more about you. Please drop a comment down below and tell us where you are watching this video from today. We read every single comment. Now, let us return to our story. To understand how Martha ended up in handcuffs, we must look at her life. Martha was 62 years old. She had lived a quiet, modest life in a small apartment on the edge of the city. Her life had not been easy. 2 years ago, her beloved husband passed away after a long illness. The medical bills had drained all their savings. Martha was left entirely alone with a mountain of debt. Despite her age and her aching joints, Martha did not complain. She was a woman of deep integrity. She believed in honest work. She secured a job as a housekeeper at the Grand Horizon Hotel. It was one of the most luxurious hotels in the country. Rich executives, celebrities, and billionaires stayed there regularly. Martha's day started very early. She woke up at 4 in the morning every single day. She made herself a simple cup of tea and caught the first bus into the city. By 6 o'clock, she was already in her uniform. It was a plain gray dress with a white apron. She spent her days scrubbing massive marble bathtubs, changing high-thread count sheets, and dusting expensive crystal chandeliers. The work was physically exhausting. By the afternoon, Martha's back would ache terribly. Her hands were always dry and irritated from the harsh cleaning chemicals. Yet, she always maintained a warm smile. She treated every guest room with the utmost care. She cleaned every corner as if it were her own home. The guests frequently noticed her hard work. Martha was polite, quiet, and incredibly respectful. Sometimes, kind guests would leave her a generous tip. Martha never kept that extra money for luxuries. Every single dollar went toward paying off her late husband's medical debts and buying her basic groceries. She lived on bread, soup, and tea. Her only goal was to live an honest life and honor her husband's memory. While the hotel guests appreciated Martha, the hotel manager did not. Mr. Davenport was a young, ambitious, and highly arrogant man. He had been appointed as the general manager only 6 months prior. Mr. Davenport did not care about hard work or loyalty. He only cared about status, power, and money. Mr. Davenport treated the cleaning staff like they were completely invisible. He often walked past them without making eye contact. If a hallway was not perfectly spotless, he would shout at the maids right in public. He loved to show everyone that he was the boss. He particularly disliked Martha. He felt that she was too old for the job. He wanted younger, faster workers who would not need breaks. Mr. Davenport frequently looked for reasons to reprimand her. He would check her cleaning cart with a white glove, hoping to find a single speck of dust. But Martha was too thorough. She never gave him a reason to fire her. This only made Mr. Davenport frustrate even more. "You move too slowly, Martha." Mr. Davenport would snap at her in the corridors. "This is a 5-star establishment. We need speed. If you cannot keep up, I will find someone who can." Martha would always bow her head respectfully. "I am doing my absolute best, Mr. Davenport. The rooms are perfectly clean. Just do your job and stop talking back," he would reply coldly. Martha knew she had to be careful. She could not afford to lose this job. If she was fired, she would lose her apartment. She would end up on the streets. So she swallowed her pride. She worked even harder, pushing through her physical pain every day. On a bright morning, a very important guest checked into the hotel's grandest penthouse suite. Her name was Meredith Chase. She was a wealthy socialite known for her expensive taste and her terrible temper. She arrived with 5 large leather suitcases and a heavy air of superiority. Mr. Davenport personally escorted Meredith to her room. He bowed and smiled, doing everything he could to please her. He wanted to impress her because her family was highly influential. "If you need absolutely anything, Madam Meredith, please call me directly," Mr. Davenport said with a fake, wide smile. "I have assigned our most experienced housekeeper to take care of your suite." That housekeeper was Martha. Martha was nervous about cleaning the penthouse. She knew that wealthy guests could be very demanding. When she entered the suite later that morning, Meredith was sitting on the plush sofa, talking loudly on her phone. She did not even look at Martha. Martha quietly began her work. She dusted the mahogany furniture. She polished the mirrors. On the master bedroom vanity, Martha noticed a stunning diamond necklace. It was resting inside an open velvet box. The diamonds caught the morning light and sparkled brilliantly. Martha did not touch it. She carefully dusted around the box, making sure her hands stayed far away from the jewelry. After 2 hours of intense cleaning, the penthouse suite was absolutely perfect. Martha gathered her cleaning supplies and quietly exited the room. She took a deep breath of relief. She thought the difficult task was over. She was completely wrong. An hour later, a loud commotion broke out on the 12th floor. Martha was down the hall, cleaning a standard guest room, when she heard shouting. Suddenly, the door to her room flew open. Mr. Davenport stormed inside. Behind him stood Meredith Chase, her face red with intense anger. 2 hotel security guards followed closely behind them. "Where is it, Martha?" Mr. Davenport demanded, his voice shaking with rage. Martha stood up slowly, holding a cleaning cloth. She was confused. "Where is what, sir?" "Do not play dumb with me," Mr. Davenport yelled. "Madam Meredith's diamond necklace is gone from her room. It is worth $200,000. You were the only person allowed inside the penthouse this morning. You took it." Martha's heart stopped. The blood completely rushed out of her face. No, I didn't take it. I saw the necklace on the table, but I never touched it. I swear I didn't." Meredith Chase stepped forward, pointing an expensive manicured finger at Martha. "She is lying. It was right there on my vanity. Now it is gone. Look at her. She is poor. She probably saw it and thought she could sell it to change her miserable life. Search her." Mr. Davenport immediately nodded to the security guards. "Search her cleaning cart. Search her pockets. Do not let her hide it." Martha stood frozen in absolute horror as the guards began ripping her cleaning cart apart. They threw the clean towels onto the floor. They knocked over the spray bottles. They emptied her trash bag. Martha felt completely humiliated. Tears started rolling down her wrinkled cheeks. "Please stop," Martha sobbed. "I am an honest woman. I have never stolen a thing in my entire life." Suddenly, One of the security guards reached deep into the bottom pocket of Martha's canvas cleaning cart. He pulled his hand out. His fingers were holding something bright and sparkling. It was the diamond necklace. "I found it, Mr. Davenport," the guard said, holding up the heavy jewelry. Meredith gasped. "My necklace. I knew it. I knew she was a thief." Mr. Davenport looked at Martha with a look of pure hatred and satisfaction. "Well, well, well. Look at this. The quiet, sweet Martha is nothing but a common criminal. You thought you could get away with stealing from our elite guests." Martha stared at the necklace in total disbelief. She felt like the room was spinning. That is impossible. I don't know how that got there. I didn't put it there. Someone else must have done this." "Be quiet," Mr. Davenport snapped. "The evidence is right here in your possession. You have brought deep shame to this hotel. Security, call the police immediately. We will make an example out of her. I will not tolerate thieves in my establishment." Within 15 minutes, 2 police officers arrived at the hotel. Mr. Davenport led them straight to Martha. He handed them the necklace and explained the situation, making sure to paint Martha as a calculated, greedy thief. The officers did not question his story. They saw a poor maid and a wealthy manager. To them, the case was completely obvious. They grabbed Martha's arms and snapped the cold metal handcuffs onto her wrists. Martha felt her knees go weak. She felt like her whole life was collapsing. She had worked so hard to maintain her good name. Now she was going to jail. The police officers marched Martha down to the main lobby. Mr. Davenport and Meredith Chase followed closely behind, eager to watch her get dragged away into a police car. The lobby was filled with wealthy guests who stopped to stare at the dramatic scene. Martha kept her head down, crying silently. She felt completely, utterly broken. They reached the center of the lobby, right near the grand entrance. The police officer pulled open the heavy glass doors. But before they could step outside, a sleek, black luxury car pulled up to the curb. The driver quickly ran around to open the back door. A man stepped out. He was tall, with silver hair at his temples and an air of immense power. It was Lawrence Stone, the billionaire owner of the hotel corporation. Lawrence rarely visited this specific hotel location. He usually managed his global empire from his penthouse headquarters in the capital. His sudden arrival caught everyone completely by surprise. Mr. Davenport's eyes went wide. He instantly forgot about Martha and rushed forward to greet the big boss. He bowed slightly, his voice suddenly turning incredibly sweet and servile. "Mr. Stone, what an unexpected honor," Mr. Davenport said, rubbing his hands together. "We did not expect you today. Welcome to the hotel, sir." Lawrence Stone did not smile. He did not look at Mr. Davenport's extended hand. His sharp eyes immediately went to the police officers, and then to Martha, who was standing there in handcuffs, weeping. Lawrence frowned deeply. "What's going on here? Why is a hotel employee in handcuffs in the middle of my lobby?" Mr. Davenport quickly spoke up, eager to show that he was handling the situation perfectly. "Ah, Mr. Stone, please accept my deepest apologies for this unpleasant sight," Mr. Davenport said smoothly. "This woman is Martha. She is one of our housekeepers. Unfortunately, she turned out to be a thief. She stole a $200,000 diamond necklace from Madame Meredith Chase's penthouse suite." Meredith Chase stepped forward, smiling warmly at the billionaire. "Yes, Mr. Stone. It was dreadful. She hid my necklace right inside her cleaning cart. Luckily, your brilliant manager, Mr. Davenport, found it immediately and called the law. We were just sending her away to jail, where she belongs." Lawrence Stone looked at Meredith, then at Mr. Davenport. Finally, he looked directly at Martha. He saw her worn-out shoes. He saw her red, calloused hands. He saw the pure, unfiltered terror and honesty in her tear-filled eyes. Lawrence was a very wise man. He had built his entire empire by reading people accurately. He knew what greed looked like, and he knew what innocence looked like. Martha did not look like a thief. Lawrence walked slowly over to Martha. The police officers automatically stepped back, recognizing his immense power. "Did you take the necklace, Martha?" Lawrence asked. His voice was not angry. It was surprisingly calm and gentle. Martha looked up into the billionaire's eyes. She felt a tiny spark of hope, though she was still shaking. "No, sir," she sobbed. "I swear on my late husband's grave, I did not touch it. I cleaned the room and I left. I don't know how it got into my cart. I have never stolen a single thing in my life. Please believe me." "She is lying to save herself, sir." Mr. Davenport interrupted quickly, his face turning a bit pale. "The necklace was found in her cart. The facts are clear." Lawrence Stone turned his cold gaze back to Mr. Davenport. The manager instantly went silent under the billionaire's sharp look. "I do not base my decisions on assumptions, Mr. Davenport," Lawrence said coldly. "We have a state-of-the-art security system in this hotel. Did you bother to check the hallway cameras before calling the police?" Mr. Davenport swallowed hard. A bead of sweat formed on his forehead. "Well, no, sir. The necklace was found directly in her possession. I didn't think it was necessary to check the tapes. The evidence was completely undeniable. In my empire, everything is checked," Lawrence said firmly. He turned to his personal security guard, who always traveled with him. "Simon, go to the security room. Bring the security footage from the 12th floor hallway from the last 4 hours. Bring it down to the lobby monitor immediately." "Right away, sir," Simon replied, and he hurried off toward the back offices. The lobby remained completely tense and silent. Mr. Davenport began fidgeting with his watch. He kept shifting his weight from one foot to the other. Meredith Chase crossed her arms, looking highly annoyed. Martha just stood there, praying silently in her heart. 10 minutes later, Simon returned with a laptop. He placed it on the grand marble reception desk. Lawrence Stone walked over to the screen, and he motioned for the police officers and Mr. Davenport to follow him. "Let's see what really happened on the 12th floor today," Lawrence said. The security video began to play. It showed the quiet hallway of the 12th floor. The timestamp showed 10 o'clock in the morning. They saw Martha walking down the hall with her heavy cleaning cart. She unlocked the door to the penthouse suite and entered. Simon fast-forwarded the tape. 2 hours later, Martha was seen exiting the penthouse. Her cart was organized. She closed the door, locked it, and walked down the hall to the next room. There was nothing suspicious about her behavior at all. Then, Simon played the footage from 30 minutes later. The hallway was completely empty. Suddenly, a figure appeared on the screen. It was not a housekeeper. It was Mr. Davenport. The video clearly showed Mr. Davenport looking around nervously. He looked left and right to make sure the hallway was clear. Then he used his master keycard to open the door to the penthouse suite. He slipped inside. Only 2 minutes later, Mr. Davenport emerged from the penthouse. His hand was shoved deep inside his jacket pocket. He walked quickly down the hallway, straight toward the room where Martha was working. Her cleaning cart was parked right outside the open door in the hallway. The camera captured the scene in perfect, clear high definition. Mr. Davenport walked past Martha's cart. He paused for a brief second. He reached into his jacket pocket, pulled out the sparkling diamond necklace, and shoved it deep into the bottom canvas pocket of Martha's cart. Then, he walked away quickly toward the elevators. A collective gasp echoed through the hotel lobby. Everyone had seen it. The entire event was caught on camera. The lobby erupted into quiet whispers. Meredith Chase's jaw dropped in absolute shock. The police officers looked at each other, then looked directly at Mr. Davenport. Mr. Davenport's face was completely white. He looked like he was about to faint. The sweat was now pouring down his face. His hands were shaking violently. This is a misunderstanding, sir," Mr. Davenport stammered, looking frantically at Lawrence Stone. "I can explain. The video, it doesn't show everything. I found it on the floor and—" "Silence!" Lawrence Stone roared. His voice was like thunder. His eyes were burning with immense anger. "You framed an innocent, hard-working woman. You used your position of power to destroy a person's life just to satisfy your own sick malice. You stole the necklace yourself, hid it in her cart, and then called the police to ruin her name." Lawrence turned immediately to the police officers. "Officers, please remove the handcuffs from Martha. She is completely innocent." The police officer quickly unlocked the handcuffs from Martha's wrists. Martha rubbed her sore skin, tears of relief flooding her face. She looked at Lawrence Stone with deep gratitude. "Now," Lawrence said, pointing a stern finger at Mr. Davenport, "put those handcuffs on him. I want this man arrested for grand theft, framing an innocent citizen, and filing a completely false police report." The police officers did not hesitate. They grabbed Mr. Davenport's arms. The arrogant manager tried to pull away, but they forced his hands behind his back. The metal handcuffs clicked loudly into place around his wrists. "Mr. Stone, please, don't do this. I have worked for you for years." Mr. Davenport begged, his voice cracking with tears. "Please forgive me." "You are fired, Mr. Davenport," Lawrence said coldly, "and I will personally ensure that you face the maximum sentence under the law. Take him away." The police officers dragged the sobbing, ruined manager out of the hotel lobby. The very scene he had created for Martha had now become his own worst nightmare. The lobby guests began to clap loudly, cheering for justice. Meredith Chase looked incredibly embarrassed. She looked at Martha, then at Lawrence. "Well," Meredith muttered, adjusting her expensive purse, "I suppose I should take my necklace and go. I am glad my property was found." "You may take your necklace, Madam Meredith," Lawrence said to her with a cold smile, "but you will also be checking out of my hotel immediately. We do not welcome guests who treat our staff like garbage based on their social status." Meredith's face turned bright red. She snatched her necklace from the counter, turned on her high heels, and stormed out of the hotel in deep humiliation. Now only Lawrence, his assistant Simon, and Martha remained by the desk. Martha was still trembling slightly, wiping her eyes with her apron. Lawrence walked over to her. He took her rough hands in his own. His expression was incredibly warm and gentle. "Martha," Lawrence said softly, "I am deeply, deeply sorry for the terrible ordeal you had to go through today. It breaks my heart to see an honest worker treated this way in my establishment." "Thank you, Mr. Stone," Martha said, her voice shaking. "Thank you for looking at the tapes. You saved my life. I don't know what I would have done." Lawrence smiled warmly. "You don't have to thank me for doing what is right, but I want to make things right for you. I have heard about your dedication. I know you are our most thorough housekeeper, and you have a flawless record." Lawrence turned to Simon. "Simon, prepare the paperwork immediately. Mr. Davenport's position is officially vacant. I am appointing Martha as the new general manager of this hotel." Martha gasped, her eyes going wide with shock. "What? Me? Sir, I cannot be the manager. I am just a maid. I don't know how to run a hotel." "You know this hotel better than anyone, Martha," Lawrence said firmly. "You know how it operates. You know how to treat people with dignity and respect. That is what a true leader does. You will have a full team to assist you with the paperwork. Your salary will be multiplied by 10, and you will never have to scrub another floor again." Tears filled Martha's eyes once more, but this time they were tears of pure joy. She thought of her late husband. She thought of the long nights of worry, the aching joints, and the heavy burden of debt. In a single moment, her life had been completely transformed. Her honesty and integrity had saved her, and the kindness of a billionaire had given her a brand new future. Martha looked at Lawrence Stone and smiled from the bottom of her heart. "Thank you, sir. I promise I will not let you down." "I know you won't, Martha," Lawrence smiled. "I know you won't.